If you could share your full name with us.
Marita Wassman.
And where are you?
I'm the program director at Right On St. Louis.
Great. And your name?
Tim Shirtliff, and I'm on the faculty at Washington University Program in Occupational Therapy at the medical school here.
Well, the basics of using hippotherapy is for core strength. So when people are sitting on a horse and their hips are moving, they're basically able to be walking just as if the person were walking. So that's going to affect the whole core of your being, And so stronger core, stronger neck muscles, obliques, abs will hopefully, and this was the big part of Dr. Tim's research, is if you have a stronger core, then you're going to be able to do things in life easier and better using your upper extremities, using your arms or even your legs than for walking. So it's going to very much change individuals' lives so that even simply taking a cup of water to your mouth, maybe brushing your hair, children outside at a playground being able to maybe use, the play equipment better. So I think that's the whole point of it, is changing people's lives for the better so that they can be more productive in life.
And I agree with everything Marita said, but I want to add some things to it, because one of the things that happens is a lot of times people describe this as a process of strengthening, which it is. I like to extend it further to say it's really a process of training the brain to use the muscles. Because kids with cerebral palsy, for example, they're born with damaged motor systems. And that's what cerebral palsy is all about. And so if we just strengthen them, they still wouldn't have the motor control. Mm. And so what happens is when we put a child on a horse, and the horse moves in 3 dimensions and challenges that child with every step, they have to learn how to respond to it. And the brain has to learn how to control those muscles that are also being strengthened. So I think of it as more training the brain.
So what I would love for you to do is tell me how you ended up here with Carter.
Carter has spastic diplegia. He was prematurely born at 23 weeks. He was 1 pound, 5 ounces when he was born. He was the sole survivor of a triplet pregnancy. And he spent 6 months in the NICU, having surgery after surgery, procedure after procedure. He would get well, and then he would get sick again. He would get well, and then something else would happen. So we spent 6 months basically living at the NICU. He was our firstborn child. So that was basically our life for 6 months. Then he got well, and he came home, and he's been a blessing in our lives since the day he was born. Mm. He was diagnosed with cerebral palsy when he was 2 years old, although there were signs earlier, but they just don't make the diagnosis until 2 years old. He has spastic diplegia, and basically what it does to him is it limits his ability to move easily and freely like you and I would.
Oh!
Santa Claus.
Jingle Bell rocks. Yeah,
Santa Claus came to my house. Good. Oh, that's his guitar. He's playing his guitar on his horse.
Jingle Bell rock. Right. Jingle Bell rock.
So tell me about Megan when she was 6. What was she like then?
Well, when she was born with a genetic disorder. It's called velocardiofacial syndrome. So she's always had language delays, learning disabilities, some physical. And when we first started here, she actually had some upper strength concerns. So then she was getting physical therapy. But I really believe that the writing has been the reason she is where she is right now. I mean, we've done all the other therapies, and that's gotten her more educationally where she is right now. But I think the writing in particular has just increased her self-confidence, and especially been writing here because she's been able to keep getting better and better and be more and more independent. So as her skills increased, they allowed her to have more independence. They allowed her to start, helping to tack, and so then she learned about all the parts of the horse. So it's educational too, but more of the self-confidence.
Okay.
And to get on, I mean, if you look at her now on a horse, you would never guess that
I've watched her working with that other girl, I can't remember her name.
Kristen is the teacher, yeah.
And they're sport riding and doing all kinds of
She's
stuff.
actually started jumping.
And my first child, he's a boy, and he's 12 now, but he had some issues, and later we found out that he had autism too, but he's got Asperger's, and his issues are not the same as Reese's. His were more he just needed that movement, that you get from riding on a
The
horse.
stimulation,
Yeah, the stimulation.
movement.
And so he did it for a couple years. And then when I was bringing Reese out here with Nick, because they're 16 months apart, she didn't want to have anything to do with the horses. They scared her. And she was like 4. Well, when she started kindergarten, I thought, you know what? She really needs this. So I brought her back out here. She got up on the horse, and she hasn't gotten off. And she keeps saying, Mom, can we get a horse? I'm like, yeah, when you save up $30,000, we'll get a horse.
Things that I've never done on a horse.
Sitting sideways, that's the hardest.
And you were also sitting backwards?
Oh, that's not the hardest. It's kind of like saying frontwards.
It is?
Yeah.
I also saw you on your knees.
That's the flag.
That was pretty amazing.
She used to stand up and ride a horse, too.
I used to. Don't do it now
She
because
got too tall.
Oh.
I don't do it anymore.
There is something about these horses out here that I'm out of my head completely. And I was kind of concerned that the joy would be temporary, that it wouldn't last, that I could only get joy by being with the horses. And that's not the case. I have found that this joy that I feel inside has been ignited in me